Can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk. This is a final prediction video for the big fight happening at welterweight in Belfast this weekend between Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan. Niall, good to be joined by you as always. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's rare you get fights like these which are genuine 50-50s, but this one really is, and I'm looking forward to hearing what your final prediction is. Without further ado, I'll let you go ahead and then maybe we'll discuss a couple of things afterwards. Please do crack on.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this one, especially as an Irishman. It's the biggest fight that we've had here in many, many years. My final prediction will be I'm going with Paddy Donovan. And what may surprise people is I'm going for a Paddy Donovan late stoppage. I just think that what it comes down to is he does a lot. He does more things better than Lewis Crocker. I think he's a boxer. I think he's quicker. He's slicker, southpaw. More versatile, big puncher in his own right. So I just think he is the perfect type of fighter to expose, well, maybe expose would be the wrong word, but set those traps for Lewis Crocker in his aggression. Coming forward, being aggressive, being spiteful. I think Paddy Donovan is the best man to kind of make him pay for that. And where the stoppage comes from is that we've seen Lewis Crocker before really struggle to make the weight. He's a big welterweight. He really is. Paddy Donovan is as well, but I just think Lewis Crocker has really had his struggle. So I'm going for a Paddy Donovan late stoppage, not kind of cold KO. Maybe a TKO with the ref stepping in. But yeah, that's my prediction.
Fantastic. And I'll give my prediction shortly now, but my only other question for you about your prediction is you've gone for a late stoppage. Say, or you can say what round you think it might be. Say round 9 or round 10 for the sake of argument. Do you see it being like close on the scorecards then, or do you see a fairly kind of dominant performance from Paddy Donovan on Saturday night?
Well, first of all, to give a round, I'd say I'll go around 10. I'll go around that kind of area to fight. In terms of will it be close, I think early it will be close. I think Lewis Crocker is going to set a big pace, heavy pace, be aggressive, kind of, be spiteful, close the distance. But I think once Paddy Donovan finds his range, after about 3 or 4 rounds, I think he's gonna pull away. I think he might start to put on a bit of a boxing clinic. As I say, set those traps, be elusive, counter punching with his speed and that sort of stuff. So I think I think he'll have a healthy enough lead on the scorecards by the time he stops him around round 10, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, fantastic. We will see what happens. I'm going to agree with you, Niall. I think um it's it's a shame we're not getting a proper weigh-in on Friday. We're getting one of these ceremonial weigh-ins in the evening, which I can't stand, but that's what we're going to get because I just I don't think Lewis Crocker is the force at welterweight that he was a couple of years ago. To me, he looks like someone who's a super welterweight or even a middleweight, looking at the size of him, and I think that's where he could become unstuck. I'm actually going to go for Paddy Donovan on points. I'm not sure he'll do quite enough to get Lewis Crocker out of there, but that's what I'm going for in a kind of 116, 112, 117, and 111 sort of scorecard. But we shall see. Interesting that we're both agreeing, but look, it's a fantastic fight. I don't, you're better placed to talk about this than I am, but it's the sort of fight that's like Belfast has been crying out for it feels like years. The entire time we've been kind of doing content with free SBR, and it doesn't feel like we've had this sort of fight take place in Belfast. So it's fantastic. Final one from me now. How do you see the world title situation developing? John Ennis is fighting Stanionis in April. We're being told this fight is a final eliminator. What do you see happening kind of between Ennis and Stanionis? And do you think that fighter will then face what you think will be Paddy Donovan later in the year, or do you think something else will happen? How do you see that landscape developing?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We have the Ennis and Stanionis fight coming up, which is good to see. But kind of before this, Ennis struggled to really get those kind of big name unification fights. I just had it in my head that after he unifies with Stanionis, which I think he will, I can see him moving up to 154. So I could definitely, see a situation where Paddy Donovan or Lewis Crocker would fight for a vacant title. The welterweight division is not the strongest outside of Jaron Ennis, and Stanionis is a good fighter in his own right. But yeah, I just think I'd like to see Jaron Ennis move up after this if he cannot get big fights. I'd like to see Jaron Ennis in unification fights after this again with the likes of Brian Norman Jr. or Mario Barrios. I think he has pound for pound potential, so I want to see him kind of unify the division first before he fights the likes of a Paddy Donovan or a Lewis Crocker. So if he can't get those fights, I think he'll move up rather than defend against a Crocker or a Donovan. But it would be huge for Irish boxing as well to see one of those two men fight for that IBF world title. But yeah, I can just see it being for a vacant belt, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. Look, we'll see. It's a fantastic fight. You never know the kind of if Lewis Crocker wins, I've got a feeling he might say that's the last time I'm making 147. I'm moving up, even if a world title is in distance. But we will see. It's a fantastic fight that will take place in Belfast on Saturday night. Niall, good to be joined by you as always. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your prediction, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Cheers, take care.